A quick disclaimer. I am not this guy. So that's Anders Bloom, my co-founder. He was scheduled to speak today. Unfortunately, due to some family difficulties, he's unable to attend. On another note, I am not a public speaker per se. I am challenging myself to be up here, so I will try and do my best to be clear, prompt, and all the rest. And thank you for supporting that. I might go red, I might look like I'm about to explode. I won't, don't worry. So, Skybox Technologies. Basically, we're a company, esports technology company. We're looking to engage and empower esports stakeholders. And I should explain what esports stakeholders means in this context. It's players, it's fans, it's educators, it's analysts, parents, tournament organizers, and what have you, anyone that contributes to the value chain of esports. And through this, we want to elevate esports as a whole. So what's the vision of Skybox? So our vision is societal progression through esports. And I'll just read out what that means. So we bring focus to the critical skills of high-performing teams and players that are transferable to all walks of life, distilling important positive characteristics in players while reducing public cynicism. The legitimization of esports pushes society further by harnessing the passion and the talent within the industry and broadening its application within and outside of esports. So Sam advised me not to go too philosophical, but I'll just say that ignorance and rigidity blocks individual and societal progression. And why is that significant? So our mission, what we do, is to push esports further. Instead of saying, and there's an us and them, let's try and create a conversation where we bring more people into the fold. So how we do that is we elevate esports through accessibility, engagement, and empowerment. We enhance the journey of fans and players from the novice through to the professional, and we achieve our mission by developing innovative digital products that are utilized throughout the esports industry at all levels. And our goal is to be an integral platform. So we want to be synonymous with player, team, and industry progression. So what is Skybox? So Skybox is an esport cloud-based platform that provides visualization, analysis, and management tools. We have a 3D software that transforms spectator engagement and gameplay analysis while powering game-changing algorithms that will fundamentally improve esport player development. And in the same way, we can communicate esports in a new way, also communicating all the extra skills you can get as an esport player, as opposed to, for example, a traditional sports player. There's so many crossovers which are not being explored right now. So I think a video is about to play. No, okay. An integrated platform. So we are very much a back-end technology. Lots going on there from the front end. We have a desktop 3D software. Right now we're focused on CSGO. We have recreated CSGO in our own software, which means it gets visualized as a spectator sport because a first-person shooter game was never meant to be used as or seen as a spectator sport. Within the web portal, this is where everything happens, where analytics, coaching, resource management, and so forth happen. So you get a player profile, which is a holistic player profile, which goes well beyond just mechanical skills. That aggregates into a team profile where you start getting a lot of team-based analytics and guidance. And then we've also got an enterprise level where you can start managing multi-team enterprises. That means you've got a transparency over the effectiveness of your education or your coaching. You can start evaluating your organization. It also means you can start communicating pretty pertinent things to, say, other stakeholders like parents. And then we've got an overlay under development, which is about real-time player and team guidance. Here is a little video of Anna's just breaking down a match. I think it will automatically play, or maybe it won't.
I want to try and tell you a story about a round and a particular kind of attack that's happening on the B side of the map between Avant-Garde, and G2. And I'm going to assume that you don't know anything about Counter-Strike, and that you might be one of the viewers that would maybe tune in, but then tune out pretty quickly because the context of what's going on is very tricky. One of the things that I think is a problem, and that one of the reasons why we've developed Skybox as a tool, is so that broadcasters can actually do this and tell really compelling stories so that even an uninformed audience will catch up pretty quickly and know what's going on. So the story that we're going to tell this time around is about how the offensive side, the guys in yellow with the yellow outline, are going to try and attack the B-bomb site, which is over on this side of the map. And they're going to do it in a very specific way. So I'll try and show you exactly what they'll do before they do it. So actually pause it for just a little bit. This is the B-bomb site. And right here, we're going to see where you can throw the most common smoke grenades that are meant to block out anyone from entering and try to interfere with the attack itself and push any defenders back. Or if they stay inside of the smoke perimeter, let's say, then you can fight them isolated from the rest of the team. So that is sort of the strategy of it. The setup point for it is right outside, which is a position called top banana, which you can see here. A little bit of fire going on, and we've got the game paused. We can easily go back and forth and around down in the timeline at the bottom, so it's very easy for us to sort of scroll back and forth and go back to the same position we were just in, where everybody's now setting up for it. But I want to tell you the full story of this round, and that involves the two people that are playing on the other side. You see them through the building here, Adren and Sanji. But we can actually remove that building so you can see exactly where they are. And let's remove all of the buildings that are sort of in between the A and the B bomb site so that we get a really good overview of what's going on. Because these two players, even though they're not part of the main attack, are still critical to the whole thing. So I'll try and take you through it. For one thing, right now, they're making sure that nobody who is defensive over at the A bomb site, that nobody's sneaking through, that there isn't anyone finding any information. You can see them looking, and we're going to pause it here. Adren is going to be throwing a smoke grenade that lands all the way over here, a position called Arch Corner or Archway Corner. And that's really critical. What that does is it keeps these two people honest to stick around. Now, there's a fight happening in the meantime over on the other side, but let's ignore that for the moment, because now comes the part of the actual execute towards the position that we were talking about earlier. You see the smokes are going in, and they land in these two positions, and we'll go back to the overview, because this is where you lose people. This is where you lose the context of the round. You see how Jax and Lucky are still here. They were just waiting for that smoke that's only just disappeared, but it means they can't really rotate to help out their teammates. So that fight that's happening on this bomb site, Lucky's now starting to make his way here, but you can tell it's too late already, and Jax is way too late. He's really far away, and that's a big problem. We can easily remove all the buildings, and we can get them all back again so you can recognize the map as it is, but it's very, very clear how this kind of a play works out, and exactly why it's important to be in the right position and also to have the right information, and they were denied that by the other half of the offensive side. So that's a really, really good strategy that they were managing to pull here in the game, and it's essential for us to be able to tell this story in its whole and not just parts of it, so that people can appreciate what the game is all about.
So in a nutshell, from this, you can see also how all of a sudden you can start explaining strategy, communication, execution, and so forth in CS. There's a lot of stories to be told which have been lacking in CSGO. Nope. Okay, so on with Skybox. So basically Skybox, it's designed to scale. So we use the same technology base, and then we leverage it into other verticals, such as education, content production, broadcasting strategy, metrics, skill development, spectator experience analysis. As part of as where we are today in our closed beta, we've had to kind of put it out into the wild to get feedback from not just our test users and so forth, but also just from the community at large. So far, the 3D software part has been used in ESL 1 finals in Cologne. Blast Pro did a segment on it in Los Angeles, the 99 Liga finals, OMNI series, and actually just on this weekend, it was also the 99 Liga finals as well. So along the journey, I mean, we spent 7 months building the business case for Skybox before we went into any kind of production. We built a lot of like little test demos and so forth. Went out and spoke with a lot of people in the industry. This is just a small snapshot of who has actually helped us along the way. We've spent 2 years building a technology which is now an architecture that can be adapted into other game titles. It can also be built on within CS. In other words, the roadmap is very long. But we've got a product which we're very proud of and is soon coming to market. We've got a lot of user feedback. This one by Sean Gaerzo is quite important for us because it's really what we're trying to achieve with Skybox, even though this is CS focused. So I'll just read it out. Even in its early stages, Skybox has the ability to revolutionize Counter-Strike analytics on multiple fronts. As a broadcast tool, desk segments will have access to easy-to-digest overplay replays. New viewers, especially at large events like majors, will appreciate the visual aid of a tool like Skybox. More importantly, Skybox has potential to improve teamwork and development in professional or semi-professional CSGO. Recognizing patterns or how your opponent reacts has never been easier. So it means we can start onboarding, for example, the parent that takes their kid to the next ESL tournament or what have you, because they can actually start following the game instead of just waiting for action to happen, you know. And that's been a big part, is like, let's bring in more people into esports, let's make it very accessible. So if you wanted a summarized version of what Sean just said, it would be what Adran says: awesome shit so far, I look forward to seeing it evolve. And Skybox as a whole, it's an omni-channel. So what you see is what you get. So it means that we get cross-marketing with some of the most prominent names in the game, but it also means we get onboarding. So people get to see their heroes or whatever, their analysts using Skybox, breaking down matches. Then they can actually go to our website, download the same software, and start using it. So we've got a nice onboarding flow there. That's significant because why do people watch esport broadcasts or esport content? The number one reason is to improve. Over 50% watch it to improve. So we're speaking directly to our potential customer base. And then, how do we make money? So we are a software as a service. Skybox revenue is predominantly generated via a tier-based subscription model. It also has a freemium part, so the novice player, coach, whoever that needs to just understand the game a bit more can go and use our software for free. But as soon as they start interacting with it a bit more, they'll want to start paying for it. So our objective is to engage users at all levels and be an integral platform in their esports journey. Therefore, our pricing balances user and data acquisition with immediate and long-term revenue goals. The platform will be accessible to everybody who has an internet connection and a desire to progress their esport journey. Okay, so just a few quick things. So what's happened so far? So in May, 99 Liga premiered the alpha version of the 3D replay. In June, ESL premiered the beta version of the 3D replay. This month, we've converted our test users into paying customers, which is over 50 teams and organizations. September onwards, we plan to do a whole lot of new releases. And in December, at the ESL Untitled, we'll be launching a new product within the same family. And we're aiming for open access in December as well. And the reason why it's not open access yet is just because we want to make sure that the user journey, the onboarding process, doesn't leave people guessing what the hell they're supposed to do with the software. This takes time and a lot of testing and feedback. And we're just getting started. We're 2 years in, but just at the very tip of where we're going. I just realized actually there's something down here that I can read instead of reading up here. But anyway, so 81% of the esports audience only follows one title or genre. So if we want to make an enterprise management software as well, which can go across multi-team organizations, it makes a lot of sense for us to be in other game titles. That's also why we made a software and an architecture which plugs into other titles. That's why it's taken 2 years to develop a CS version, because a lot of it is modular based, so we can actually plug in new game titles much more quickly. So we've got League of Legends and Dota 2 ready to go. We develop premium integrations and tools for game titles in which we can innovate and create clear value, We aim to create tools that engage, empower, and elevate the ecosystem around the game title. So that could be for a new game title, widening the player base. It can also be lengthening the life cycle of a particular title. For Dota 2, for example, this is where it sits between the professional consumer and broadcaster intersection. Of course, the obvious titles to also explore at some point. So where are we today? Let me just make sure I don't skip anything here. Basically, we've developed a pretty sophisticated back-end technology that can do a bunch of different things. Right now, it's running Counter-Strike. That goes into our desktop software, which is in closed beta use, the web portal, closed beta use, and the overlay, which is under development, which will be in alpha testing in November. And when we scale into new game titles, it's under the unified Skybox brand, meaning that our goal is to also start unifying some kind of esport language around certain titles, so it's easier to communicate to parents and other stakeholders that we want to bring into the conversation. Just a quick little note. So survival of the most cooperative. We didn't come about because of the survival of the fittest. Humans figured out, or cells figured out how to cooperate, and then they made a concerted push for survival. I see esports as it's a very strong position, but it can become and stand for so much more through cooperation. So what's the next big thing for us? So we've proven our business model and strategy, but this is only the beginning of our very exciting journey. So we're seeking partners that share our vision and values. And partners can be game developers, investors, service providers, periphery tools, even competitors. Let's see if we can make something work. Of course, some of all the parts. I'm standing up here, but we've just got a great team. So Anna's been in the game, professional caster before casters got paid. Dan, he was a professional coach and player of League of Legends before they got paid. Martin, our CTO, is the worst Counter-Strike player ever, but one of the biggest fans. Frederick, he's the founder of Astralis and an advisor and does some special operations for us. Cody's the founder of Ghost Gaming and our North American sales director. And Finn Peter grew the highest accredited IT consultancy in Denmark. So obviously pretty good for a chairman for structuring pretty complex projects. To summarize, if anybody has questions, just remember, I am not this guy, so I am not an expert in CS or what have you. But if anybody has anything to ask, please do so. Cool. Well, thank you very much, guys. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So I appreciate the comment about the cooperation bit. How have you found the space to date? How cooperative or challenging have you?
Yeah, that was the cool thing about coming into esports was that it's so huge and there's so much stuff going on. But when you enter into esports, the community feeling is still very much there. People want to help each other for sure. I think there's still like this thing where we're on kind of the outside of the mainstream trying to get into it and be legitimized. So I find as long as your purpose is kind of true and it doesn't kind of try and just take advantage of where esports is today and rather shows a little bit of appreciation for how it got here, I think the cooperation is quite good. But I would say that I don't have the answers of how we can extend it further. I just find that if you put yourself out there and start, networking more, communicating with people, which you may think, well, what kind of correlations do we have? It's surprising how many opportunities do come about. So I would say, to answer your question, definitely people want to cooperate. So let's do it. Yeah. Cool, guys. Well, thank you very much, and enjoy the conference.